Hi, I'm back to continue our discussion about how we talk to kids about treats. So we're in the middle of holiday season. That is the middle of parties, celebrations, big dinners, and lots of cookies, donuts, chocolate, candy, and all of those delicious things. They are just around us all the time. And today I want to focus on what do we do when we see our kid reaching for yet another donut or yet another brownie or going to a party and coming home with a giant bag full of candy and chocolate. I'm going to give you 3 approaches you can take, and these are going to go in order from most effective to least effective, but there's always options depending on what works best for you and your family. The first one, which is the best, but also the hardest, is called let them do it. I know, it's really hard to watch your kid go back for their 5th slice of cake. And it's really hard to watch them do that 4 days in a row. But what we have to remember is that healthy eating occurs over the course of a really long time. So a kid who eats 4 brownies or 5 pieces of cake or 100 pieces of candy one day, one time, it's really not going to ruin all of the work that we've done for their entire lives. Especially if we're still encouraging them to eat healthy fruits and vegetables, drink a lot of water, and move around a lot. Celebrating with food is an important part of living a full life. And we really want our kids to live full lives. We don't want them to feel restricted. We definitely don't want to create something called a scarcity mindset, which is where our kids feel like there isn't going to be enough cake and they have to get all of it, or they have to get as much of it as possible right now. So the best thing to do really is to step back, to remember that healthy eating is really a life's work. We don't just have this one day. We have the day after and the day after and the year after and the next year. We have a lot of time. And so for your kids to overindulge one day is not going to set you back. The other thing to remember is that we want to encourage our children to have autonomy, meaning they decide when they're hungry, they decide when they're full, they decide how much to eat. So we need to allow them that opportunity to explore and to say, if I eat 4 brownies, am I going to feel good or am I going to feel really sick? How much feels good in my tummy today? And learning how to feel full is a really important thing. It's something we don't actually have to learn. It's something we're born knowing, and that's something we learn how to ignore. And so we need to give our kids the space to feel full and to feel sick because they ate way too much candy today. And then to take away a lesson from that, hey, maybe 100 pieces of candy is too much. So again, stepping back, not saying anything, not giving them a look, not being like, another brownie, really? Haven't you had enough yet? Saying nothing and allowing them the autonomy to decide when they're full. And remembering that healthy eating is something that we work on every day, and that once in a while, overindulging or eating too much of sugar and chocolate, candy, cake, all that stuff is not the problem. The problem would be a daily consumption. So that's the first thing. It's very hard. I'm saying this as a mom myself when I'm watching my kids go to another birthday party and have another slice of cake, and I'm just like, but it's best to just not say anything, not turn it into a big deal, and just keep promoting the healthy eating. The second thing you can do is to compensate. So if you know that you're invited to a party or your child's having a celebration at school or whatever's happening during the day, then you can say something like, I'm going to serve fruit for dessert tonight instead of cookies. And you can just make a switch to compensate for the extra sugar that your kid ate not at mealtime. So when the eating is out of your control, like it's happening at a friend's house or at a school party or something like that, you can make some small changes. Again, nothing big and drastic and nothing like, wow, you went to a school party and you had 4,000 jelly donuts. So tonight for dinner, you get poached salmon and water. Nothing, not that over the top. Just maybe instead of a cookie for dessert, switch it out for fruit for dessert. We're still gonna call it dessert. We're still gonna act the same way. I'm gonna say, would you like some dessert? Today we have oranges. Oh, no thanks. Okay, fine. And And that's just something you can do, again, so you feel better and so you know that they're getting, or at least being offered, something to offset all of the sugary intake. And then the third thing you can do is something that would be preventative, where you know that if you have all these kids and all these brownies, they're gonna wanna eat more than you might want them to have. And if it's really hard for you to watch them just shove 4 brownies in their mouths, then you can just make sure that there are only enough brownies for people. Because kids have this innate sense of justice, and they're all like, we all need to have exactly the same size brownie and exactly the same number. So if you say something like, there's 1 for everybody, if you get 2, I don't have enough for everybody else to have 2, how would everybody else feel if you get 2 and they all had 1? That is something that children can understand, they can empathize with, and they can say, okay, I'm just gonna have 1. Again, we don't want to say anything like, oh, you had so much sugar already. We don't want to talk about what's in the food. We want to acknowledge that the brownies or the donuts or whatever is delicious and it's fun, and they should enjoy eating it, because one of life's daily pleasures is eating. And we really don't want to take that away from our kids. And so those are some of the best ways to deal with this overabundance during the holiday season. Make sure to follow for more tips and tricks about raising healthy eaters.